foam block. You don't have a foam block. A happy face, that goes a long way. I'm telling you, a little love and a little happiness goes a long way, even when you're feeling terrible. So today we're going to start on our core blocks, and we're going to take our bolster on top of our thighs. Unless you're in a heavenly place, please feel free to deviate. This is your journey of awareness, so whatever it takes for you to get there is really the journey. So we're just coming onto our core blocks, or if you prefer a more gentle ride, you just come onto your bolster. And we're just going to start to lengthen the legs from the bone by grounding the femur bones. So we're simply starting on our core blocks and taking the bolster on top of the thighs, and just bring your hands on top of the bolster and start to gently press your hands to the bolster as though you were pressing your thighs away from you. And then you want to start to feel a sense of your kneecaps and the upper thighs lifting up into the bolster. So this is where we're beginning, a nice easy place. And today the theme of the class is to try not to let the past influence your present. So often we take our past with us into our day, into our present moments, and in particular with yoga, we've done the pose maybe before, so we already have a preconception of how the pose is going to go for us. You'll find that if you learn to approach the pose as though you've never been there before, trying to stay completely neutral and present, you can apply this to your life in general on how to approach things that may be difficult, so that we develop this attitude of approaching the pose as an enjoyable challenge. There are going to be some poses that we typically don't like, so the work today is to leave the past behind in all things, whether it be your yoga, and just start to train the mind to stay in the present. And the best way to do that is with the breath. So on that note, let's all start to deepen the next inhale. Slow and smooth. Take your time with that breath. Slow, smooth exhale. So start to breathe a little more deeply now. Start to allow the fullness to come into the breath. Slow, smooth inhale. Equally slow, smooth exhale. Slow and smooth. Take your time with the breath. Start to allow the breath to move freely through the body. So it's the first moments of the practice that are the most challenging. The mind is very active, it has a lot of opinion, and the effort is to start to let the mind go and just focus on your breath. See if you can create the sense now of lifting the legs off the ground, lengthening the heels away. And as you press your hands, pushing the bolster away from you, start to press the backs of the thighs to the floor, reaching through the balls of the feet. So start to tip the balls of the feet forward of the heels, spread the toes wide. And this action of bringing the balls of the feet forward of the heel helps to release the back of the thighs down. See if you can find where the crease of the leg meets the buttocks. Let's widen that leg from the inner to the outer thigh. So start to feel the crease widen from the inner thigh to the outer back thigh. Let's take a nice easy stretch. Let's take the hands to the elbows and just reach your elbows up and overhead. Reach through the balls of the feet, keep the legs active, feeling the thighs actively wrap around the bone. Feel the sits bones gripping the floor. And then let's create that opposing stretch in the upper body by widening from the center of the armpit out to the sides. Can do that action in a sense of symmetry, so a complete sense of balance, accommodating both sides. Let's take the elbows back up to the ceiling and just change the clasp of the hands to the elbows. Reach the elbows up and overhead. So again, widen the outermost armpit away from the center line of the body. See if you can, as you reach through the balls of the feet, drop the backs of the thighs to the floor, gripping the sits bones with the floor. Let's take the lower ribs to the hips, sits bones to the lower ribs. Everybody take some deep breaths now. Let the breath start to perform its duty. The breath is the natural negotiator of space in the body. Fullness in the breath, everybody. Let the breath become the most important thing now. Allow everything else to fall away. Good. Let's take the hands to the bolster. And let's move the bolster off to the side. And let's take the right leg on top of the left thigh. So if you can reach your left hand to your right, pull that ankle up on top of the left thigh. And then let's take the right hand behind the lower back. Let's bend the left leg and take the left foot up towards the right hip. So we're semi-crossed. The right leg is in Padmasana. The left leg is in Swastikasana. So just bring the right leg on top of the left thigh. And if you find this extraordinarily challenging, you can just come into a cross-legged position or cheat asana a little. Start to let the feet fall away, slide away. And then let's cross the left arm behind the right. So crossing your wrist behind your lower back. If you can. Okay, that's it. So Jim, you're just focusing on that's it, crossing your legs. Just cross your legs. Let that right knee drop a little further down. That's it. So see if you can find the center of your buttocks, everybody. Find both the right sits bone and the left sits bone. See if you can let your elbows be heavy to the floor so that you can create a sense of widening the shoulders away from each other. And you've got the elbows finding a little resistance to the floor to accommodate that effort. And let's use the breath to allow the inhale to lift through the side body, through the side, armpit, chest. Feel a sense of lifting from your sits bones, lifting your belly, your sternum. Following all the way through the exhale. So make that exhale the same length now as the inhale. Slow and smooth inhale. Equally slow and smooth exhale. Just connect with the breath. Everything else is falling away now. Good job, you guys. So let's slowly make our way up here. And just uncross that right leg. You're coming into an easy seated position if there is such a thing. And then let's take the bolster here, especially if you're tight. And we're simply folding forward here. You can press your sits bones to the floor and then lift again through the side body, through the armpit chest. Try to work from the side, from your sits bones, lifting through the side body to avoid jamming the sacrum into the lower back. See if you can press your sits bones, lift through the side body. If you find that it's better for you to have your hands on the floor, feel free. Just explore both. One's not better than the other. See if you can feel your sits bones gripping the floor. So the lower ribs are drawn towards the hips, but the armpit chest is lifting away from the pelvis. Good, and then let's slowly come back. We're going to come back onto the bricks. Extend the legs long. And let's take the left foot now on top of the right hip. Use your right hand if you can grab it. And grab the ankle of the foot. So the more you have that ankle right on top of that right thigh, the more you can ground or wrap that thigh around the bone and press the back of the thigh to the floor. So look for the center of your buttocks. Then let's take the left hand behind the lower back to the right hip and just bend your right leg and see if you can take that right foot to the left hip. And then let's cross the right wrist over the left now. And let's drop the elbows, lift through the armpit chest. Looking for the center of your buttocks. Everybody breathe deeply. This is truly where the magic lies in your practice. Allowing the breath to start to work its way freely through the body. And you'll find the more you focus on that breath, the more we activate that left prefrontal cortex of the brain. the better you will feel at the end of the class. It's your feel-good center, and it grows and lights up as you breathe. So we just check in every once in a while to notice, are we carrying on that conversation, that ongoing dialogue, or are you starting to genuinely focus on letting that dialogue go and just allowing the breath to be free? It's a neutral force, and it creates a neutral sense of balance inside the body. So lift your belly, lift through the sides of the armpit chest, lift through the sternum, letting the hips be heavy. See if you can, if you have your elbows on the floor, widen the shoulders away from each other. So you've got that extra resistance. The sits bones are connecting to the earth. And we're letting the breath lead the effort. The mind is still. Good job, everybody. Let's slowly start to make our way up here. So especially you, Jim, I don't want you staying for a long period of time. I don't want to have you in a spasm. And then let's release the legs. So change the cross of the legs. Make sure you've got the reverse cross. And then let's come forward now. See if you can grip the sit bones with the floor. And then first explore lengthening through the sides of the body to create more space through the front. So we lift from the sits bones. The lower ribs are drawing towards the hips, but the front is still elongating. It's getting longer and longer. So let's all breathe together here. Let's take a slow, smooth inhale. Take your time with that breath. Feel that side, armpit, chest lifting. Feel the belly. Create that extra sense of lifting and lightness all the way through the sternum. Honey, there's a mat right there if you want to just slide it on over. And then let's come forward onto the knees. And let's just take a moment here to open the feet. So let's bring the big toe knuckles together. Our favorite part, right? And let's drop the knees down. See if you can draw your outer ankles in. Outer ankles in. Lift through the belly. Let's take the hands behind the lower back and gently lift the hands away. That's it. So we're still lifting through the crease of the armpit chest. See if you can take your hands away from your lower back. So the lower ribs are dropping down towards the pelvis, but the armpit chest is lifting. Okay, let's take the right hand to the center, left hand to the right elbow, drop the right arm into the socket, and and then start to tighten the muscle around the bone as you gently draw that right outer arm out. Lift your belly. Let's change sides. Right hand to the left elbow. So let that arm drop into the socket, and then as you draw the outer arm out, start to tighten the muscle of that bicep and tricep, the upper forearm around the bone. Hopefully it will help you forget about your feet. The mind, when it has two problems at once, that's a good sign, right? Because I can assure you that if you take one problem away, the mind will find another one in no time, in a split second. Good. All right, let's gently release, and let's just untap the toes, just tap the tops of the feet. Alrighty. So here we are. Let's take the hands underneath the feet. So let your sits bones sit inside your ankles. Drop your sits bones as low as you can, and then pressing through the tops of the ankles. We're stretching the tops of the feet. So sit inside your ankles, everybody. Inside your ankles. Let your hips drop down. That's it. And then pressing through the tops of the ankles. Which is worse? Which is worse? This is pretty bad. That's what I said. Which one is worse? Good job, you guys. All right. So let's come on up for a moment and just tuck your toes one more time. We're just going to take a little side twist. So let's take the right arm to the outer left thigh. Squeeze your inner ankles, your inner shins, your inner knees together. Drop your hips. Just bring your knees together. That's all you're doing. Yeah. Maybe feet a little further apart. Yeah. Good job. You know, you could use the wall to lean into the wall. Or you got it. So all the abs and muscles are working. That's just fine. See if you can draw your inner ankles together and down. Knees together, so try not to let one knee come even slightly forward. Nobody in particular. Truly. Alright, let's come over to the other side. So the left arm is coming to the outer right thigh. You can see how that left knee wanted to come forward. So you've got to scoop that left sits bone in and under. Tuck, tuck, tuck. Squeeze the inner thighs together. Lift your belly, lift your belly, lift your belly. So I had a really complicated class planned, but Jim's here with me. No, you know what? You represent the mass. You represent me without 2 yoga classes a day, so that's fine. So lift your belly, press that left heel down, tuck that left sits bone in and under, squeeze the thighs together, lift through the crease of the armpit chest. So you see that there's no room for the mind to wander off. There's too much to be done, right? Good. And then let's take the blanket underneath the knees. And let's take the block. So whatever level your block is, lower, higher, higher, or even higher. And then just take your left foot out to the left, line it up with the right knee and the right hand. Let's take that left hand up and overhead. So press your outer left heel to the floor. Feel that left kneecap lift up as you tighten your left thigh around the thigh bone. Take your hips forward. Open that left underarm. Open the armpit chest and then create that counter stretch as you press your left heel to the floor, reach your left arm in the opposite direction. And then breathe deeply, full body breaths. So take your pelvis a little bit further forward if you can. Tuck, tuck, tuck. Squeeze your outer left buttocks cheek in. That outer gluteus medius. Take it in, take it in, take it in. Let's slowly come up. Let's reach the right arm up. So lift through the corners of the smiley face. Lift and stretch. Right hand over to the left. So lift your belly, lift your belly, lift your belly. Right hand to the left. Breathe deeply, everybody. Full body breaths if you can. Let your mind go. You'll notice that once we're about 10-15 minutes into the practice, we can start to settle in and really focus. So don't indulge yourself with a little conversation. Try to let the breath be the most important thing right now. See if you can take your right hand even further to the left. Lift your belly, lift your belly, lift your belly. Slowly come back up. Good. Let's change sides. So left knee in. Step the right foot out to the side. So start from the outer right heel. So we're looking for the outer right line of the body. Start to work up that leg as you tighten all of the muscles around the bones. So the right kneecap and the thigh should be lifting. The right outer buttocks cheek should be drawing in. The hips come forward. Let's open the chest and create that two-dimensional stretch for yourself. Breathe deeply. Fullness in the breath. Freeze the body. So feel those right ribs drawing towards the hips. Feel the chest opening as we stretch the right hand in the opposite direction. See if you can feel that inside your chest. Good. And then let's slowly lift back up. So let's reach the left arm up, lift, lift, lift. Lift some more. And let's take the left hand over to the right. Everybody take a deep breath here. Fullness in the breath if you can. Left hand even further over to the right. Lift your belly, take your hips forward. So this right sits bone is drawn towards the inner left thigh. And that left sits bone is scooping in and under. The right thigh is rolling out. Lots is going on. Good job, everybody. So let's slowly lift back up. We're not quite ready for the downward dog yet. So since we're here, let's slide our happy blanket right up to the wall. So the creases are facing inwards. And let's grab our blocks. And let's take that right knee to the wall and slide the knee down so it's right up against the wall. all together now. Let's take the left leg forward. So try to stack that left knee on top of the ankle, and then if you can start to come up, please feel free. But you want to maintain that right ankle to the outer right hip so that you can gently press your right hand on top of that heel and press down as you tuck the right sits bone in and under. That's it. So this right sits bone is scooping in and under. This left sits bone is drawing down towards the inner right thigh. See if you can release it down. It wants to lift up. Drop it down towards the inner right thigh. So if you've ever been a runner, this is going to be an enjoyable challenge. Okay? So sometimes coming in and out is necessary. Feel free to do that. Feel free to do that. At some point when we linger, the body starts to accept some forms of this pose, maybe. All right, see if you can come up a little higher. So Sean, I know you don't have those. You can link. That's it. So tuck some more now. You can start to really tuck and take the hips towards the wall. That's it. Lower ribs down towards the pelvis. Nice, great job. This is an enjoyable challenge, is it not? All right, are we going to go to step deux? All right, so we'll do the easy one first because I did the hard one last time first. Everybody really had a breakdown. So let's see if you can just take your left knee like so. So you want to keep your right knee like so and start to take your left leg down like so. So bring your left knee down, that's it. So this is Ekapada Raja Kapotasana, and then start to see if you can get your left knee down, left hip down, and then start to walk up this way. That's it. That's it. Different, right? So my dear, drop your whole pelvis down. No, that's up. You're going, that's it. Walk your blocks forward. Okay, go like this. There we go. Take your blocks away. My blocks are gone. Now we're going to take your left knee down further forward. So you're trying to push your right thigh. This is the pose, right? And then eventually we're coming up like so. So now you can take your blocks. So now that the hip is down, we start to create that opening. Lift, that's it. This is a little more accessible for you, eh, Jim? So it just depends on what we're doing. People have this thought that hips open in one place in one way. And I see many people that are very, very flexible in some ways and not at all in others. That's it. So start to take your whole torso back towards your foot. That's it. You got it. So we're dropping the hips down. See if you can inch your left hip down as you press through that right thigh. So the benefit is that you see we're off of the kneecap. We're forward onto that right thigh, which is really where we want to be. We don't want to be on the kneecap, right? Okay, let's try something else since we're here. Let's take the left foot up, looking ridiculously happy. Let's take the left leg forward. Yeah, that's it. So be sure, you can see how this left hip is coming way higher than the right. And it's because I actually have a hamstring issue. So if you do have a hamstring issue, taking the leg out to the side can release it. Isn't that interesting? So that's why I say people's hips are, unpredictable at best. So David will tell you he's very, very tight in every way, but clearly he's making some headway here, eh, David? Yeah. So see if you can come up, because you want to really stay on top of the hips. Maybe even come up again. So we're going into this pelvis area. Hey, are you all right there? Okay, take it down, dog. Your knee? Okay. And you can do this. I'm going to give you another way to do this, all right? So if we were to recognize any of these poses, it's just Ardha Supta Virasana, just a different perspective. So okay, on this side, see if you can do the other side, but you're going to be in Ardha Supta Virasana. So we're all going to start to come out here. And let's take a downward dog with the ropes. I'm just going to show Catherine what she needs to do. So honey, this would be an Ardha Supta Virasana. You're not going to need so much height. But we did one side, and then you could do the other, right? Same pose, just nothing on the knee. You want to come down lower, you can. So scooch away from the blocks, scooch away. Yeah, let it grow. So maybe take it down one level, or even lie in a bolster. Bolster. It's going to work for you because you're very flexible. So okay. No sensation in the knee. Let it grow. Good. Yeah. Same pose. And then you see all we're doing is this. But most people, yes. So you see that's all we're doing. We're taking one hip in one direction. Yeah, that's all. Just playing from different perspectives, right? So what we learned is that for one person something's very, very accessible, and for others it's not. So we're taking the downward dog with the ropes. Allow the breath to lead the way. The mind really has almost zero influence at this stage of the day. It's the breath that really has the power to let go of whatever it is you no longer need. The mind doesn't do that very well. So allow the breath to take the lead. Explore that concept of relinquishing that control the mind loves to take and just surrender to the breath. And in those moments we're so present, and the past hopefully falls away, and we are creating a new future. Without repeating the past. That's the significance. Is that we want to allow that past to fall away so it doesn't influence the present, it doesn't influence the future. So we go into the effort as though we've never been there before. So as you press through your heels more actively, let's stretch the armpit chest forward to the hands. So start to feel that internal stretch now come from the bones, from actively pressing your heels to the wall, and using the inhale, lifting the armpit chest towards the hands, and let's start to take the lower ribs to the hips now. lower ribs draw towards the pelvis and the sits bones draw down actively to the heels as you press through the heels. See where the weight is in the back of the heel. See if you can find for your outer heels. So look for the outer heels by gently turning those heels slightly out so that the feet are parallel to the outsides of the mat. Let's take the right hand to the left shin as we look underneath that left armpit. Lift again from the heels, pressing actively through the heels, lifting the armpit chest. See if you can feel a sense of containing your ribs, wrapping them around the spine. And then let's take the right hand back to meet the left, and let's take the left hand now to the outer right leg, looking underneath the right armpit. Press from your heels, lift through the side body. So feel the armpit chest stretching and reaching towards the hand. So we're tucking the sits bones in and under, especially when you're in a twist, because this twist begins in this left sits bone. It's the first step of the spiral staircase. Let's take the left hand back to meet the right. Walk your fingertips forward, press through your heels, stretch your chest. And then let's walk the hands to the feet, feet to the hands. And let's thank God we only have two sides. So let's take the blanket back from the creases of the edges, facing in. And let's take the left knee to the wall. Okay, here we go. Left knee to the wall. And let's take the right leg forward. So try to work so that that knee is on top of the ankle as we come up. So first and foremost, the left foot is on the outer left hip, and you're gently pressing that left hand down into the heel. This will help to create the action you're looking for, which is that active tucking of the left sits bone. And then this right hip here is drawing down towards the inner left heel. So drop the right hip down. That's exactly where we're going, okay? So sweet thing, bring your knees together. Use the belt, fat girl. Nicely done. Let's take the hands up. Lift your belly, lift your belly, lift your belly. So I'd say that we are going to do sitting up, seated Baddha Konasana, and Supta Virasana. Those would be the poses that we would go with today, based on this work we're doing. repeat myself often on this one topic, but this area here is the #1 disease center. #2, they're directly connected. We also know that the belly is connected to the brain. And so we need to take the time to open this area. It's tough, I know, it's tough. All right, so what do you say we come down to the second part? So we are eventually working toward Ikapada, Rada Kapitasana, pigeon pose. So try to get that left knee pressing, that left shin pressing, and then drop your right hip down. So sometimes it's hard to find balance. That girl. It's okay. Get your left foot on the floor and start to tuck the right sits bone in and under. So that's the action that my teacher would ask you to do. Bring the left foot to the floor and start to tuck that right sits bone. Start to work the left foot so you're really working that right hip. If you want. If you're looking for a little relaxation, feel free to deviate. Lift your belly, lift your belly. So some of you, I can feel on my right side, I can feel my psoas muscle connecting into my diaphragm. So we're lifting through the armpit chest. See if you can bring your right knee down just a little further. Is everybody having a good time? Is that a ridiculous question? I hope it makes you ridiculously happy. Okay, just another few breaths here. So we started with the toes because we're opening the hips. The groin, they're all connected. All right, let's come on up here. And let's take the right leg forward. Good boy, Jim. That's it. So try to reach through the ball of the right foot, spread the toes wide. Okay, would you like something else? Sure. Okay, honey, flip your bolster this way. So just turn it around. And then just take a block about 4 inches behind the bolster, like that. And then lay over. Feel free to give yourself more height if you need it. Or if you'd like to come into Setu Bandha, we could do that all together, but we'll go there together. Maybe you don't even need a block. And then feet together in Baddha Konasana. Yeah? All right, so maybe we'll come out now. Maybe we'll start to think about coming out. Good. All right, so everybody's starting to go there naturally. So we're going to try Supta Virasana now that we're completely open, completely stretched beyond. Why don't we take a child's pose first? All right, everybody, child's pose. So when I ask for the child's pose, we're going to do Adho Mukha Virasana. So bring a block underneath your forehead and stretch your arms forward. Lift the belly up and over the thighs. Try to use your hands to press your hips to your heels. And then actively tuck your sits bones. See if you can scoop your sits bones. So draw your right sits bone towards your left heel. Left sits bone towards your right heel. And this starts to help you explore which sits bone is more agile. Which one is stickier. And we're only looking for that information so that it adds to our journey of awareness. And you'll need to find a conclusion from that information. We're just gathering information for that journey, for our own purpose. Okay, so let's all come up here. And we're going to try Supta Virasana. Alright, if you want to try Ardha Supta Virasana, which is just one leg, that's fine. Many different ways to set up. This is the way to do it in Italy. So they take the blocks like so, both on the highest level. And take a look here. My buttocks is not right up against the block. So just for first timers, if this is something new for you, just see how I'm lifting my knees to come down. And if you have really tight feet, I highly recommend that you allow until the tops of the feet are open. You can bring something so that your feet are hanging off a blanket. So we're looking for that entry into the position without hitting the wall right away. That's the ticket, right? If you'd like to try just one leg at a time, Jim. So you see how I'm coming into this, lifting everything up. And I'm trying to look like so. And the left foot is on the floor to start. So this is Ardha Supta Virasana. And you see my right ankle is on the outer right hip. Let's see. Let's just give you 2 seconds here. Okay. By the way. Hey, nicely done. This is not an easy pose, right? So you see it's the same pose we just did, just from a different vantage point. Nicely done. Now just try and hang in there. Get this knee, I know, different. It opens something different, right? Same pose, just a different perspective. So if you're in Supta Virasana, try to take your sits bones to your knees. Maybe bring your hands to your heels as you press through the backs of your heels. So you're scooping your sits bones towards the knees. The belly is lifting. See if you can gently press down to the tops of your ankles. Lift through the crease of the armpit chest. So congratulate yourself. Don't allow any negative feedback at this point. These are challenging poses. If you're in the Ardha, meaning you're only doing one leg at a time, feel free to come on up. And maybe try the other leg. Maybe take it down to dog pose. then we just try the other side. Exactly. So if you see the knee lifts, bring the foot forward. Oh, you're going for the full tilted one. All right, nice. Let me give you something more, Jen. Nicely done. So you see it's all these different points of contact where we start to create resistance, and this helps to cue different areas of the body. Nice. Yes! Good job. So persistence pays off. What about you, my love? Just kind of relaxing. Okay. So if you have knee problems, coming into this pose initially may feel like it's not great for your knees, but in fact, this pose will help to heal your knees. So how long would you stay in this pose for? Typically you're going to start to experience some numbness, maybe in the shins and the ankles and the feet. So you want to, when you come out, that numbness should disappear pretty quickly. You do not want that numbness lingering beyond 3 or 4 minutes, that's for certain. So if you're in this pose, Supta Virasana, and you would like to explore taking your hands overhead, feel free. You can even bring your hands inside the ropes and just let the arms, or not, just take your hands overhead to your elbows. See if you can take your lower ribs to your hips as you take your sacrum to your lower ribs. And then Jim, you just come out, coming right into the downward dog. Let everything fall away. Just bring your hands forward. Exactly. This is the best way to release, and then just tuck and lift. Tuck and lift your hips. So when you're ready to come out of the pose, try to come right forward and pay very little attention to what's on your mat. Just tuck your toes, taking Adho Mukha Vasana, downward dog. So if you're in the dog pose, first cue, lift your kneecaps up, please. Lift your kneecaps up and press your heels down. And now see if you can lift the tops of your thighs up. And press your heels down. So we are looking to lengthen the sides of the body. And to do this, we're going to lift the heels without bringing the sacrum and pelvis forward. So when you lift your heels ever so slightly, pull your hips back. And then lift your heels a little more, pull your hips back, and take your heels down as you pull your hips back. So just explore trying to lift your heels without letting your hips or your buttocks come forward. Drop your shoulders, drop your head. There we go. Good. And come up onto your fingertips as you walk your hands towards me. Lift your heels without letting your hips come forward. That girl. Yes, that's what I'm looking for. Much better. Much better. Now you see what's happening with your core. Okay, everybody, let's walk the hands to the feet. Good. We're going to do Baddha Konasana. We never do it seated anymore, so we need to do this. If you're extraordinarily tight, use the wall. So let's come and sit on the block. And if you know that you need extra height, use extra height. The typical rule of thumb is that we want to have the knees no higher than the hips. So you can see that's a pretty good estimation. And then let's take loop, and open the loop and take the loop overhead around the waist. So do your best not to have your buckle on any part of your foot or your hip. Go. Nicely done, everybody, on that last pose. Good job. Okay. So really tighten that pose. Tighten that strap. Let it go. Now look at your heels. You can tell a lot by just observation. So if one heel is higher than the other, do not progress in this pose. You do not want to leave your weaker hip behind. So you have to work accommodating the weaker side. And let's start to press through the heels, the outer heels if you can, and lift your belly. That's it. Press, press, press. Even more. Go in more. Yeah. Lift your heels, honey, if you can. A little bit more. See how easily those heels came apart? Being against the wall now. Good. That's it. So press through your outer feet and see if you can feel those thighs externally rotate. So that's the first order of the day. Take your hands and see if you can facilitate rolling your thighs out, out, out. So you're too high. Take that blanket away. Because your knees are already dropping down, honey. There we go. We haven't done this in a long time, and I think we need to be doing it more often. That's it. So if you can elevate those heels, it's never a bad idea to elevate those heels. Pressing through the outer heels. So we start by rolling the thighs out. It's an external rotation of the thighs. But there is a second and double action. So as the thighs roll out, we're tucking, 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 right? Feel that action. But we are also untucking the pelvis. And this helps to bring those hips forward, not back. So we don't want the hip bones rolling back, just because the thighs are rolling back. We want those hips coming forward. So see if you can feel the sense of lengthening from your hip bone along the top of the thighs out through the kneecaps. You're all right. Oh, is it your strap's not tight enough, honey? Is that it? Lift your belly, press your heels together, lengthen from your hip out through your kneecaps. This will help to drop the knees down. Roll your thighs out, roll your thighs out. Make your knees longer and longer and longer. So as the thighs get longer, the shins are getting shorter. They're contracting as these are lengthening, right? So if you happen to be against the wall, see if you can press your sacrum into the wall. That's the untucking action. Drop your knees down, drop your knees down, drop your knees down. Lifting your belly, lift through the crease of the armpit chest. See if you can lift your chest now. Lift your chest. Drop your lower ribs down, but lift your chest up. So this all comes from the feet. Press your heels, inner thighs out. Lengthening the tops of the thighs out through the knees to create that double untucking action. So the two together isolate the three layers of the pelvic floor. And since both men and women, both genders have 3 layers, it's a common area. Not to mention, it's sort of important, it's our lifeline. It's where we procreate. So it's a pretty important area in the body. Lift your belly. If you're against the wall, press your sacrum to the wall, shoulders to the wall. So for those of you who are new to this pose, feel free to stay there, okay? Some of you might want to explore going a little deeper in the pose, so we would remove the strap. And we have the wall as our little friend here. And we're going to work toward getting the soles of the feet together, so that the heels, I'm going to move my mat here for a moment, my heels, the baby toes are all coming together. So you can see I'm scooching the baby toes together. That's the ticket, to get those baby toes together. And then I've got the wall here, I can lean against the wall and press the inner heels forward. That's one way to open your hips. So feel free to try this. I can assure you that when you take a walk around afterwards, you will feel a completely different connection when you root to the floor. You can feel all of the tiny pathologies. So try to get your baby toes together, the baby toe knuckles together, sitting behind your heels. And then maybe this helps. It's extraordinarily painful, I understand. As a kid, that's it. Yes. Inner heels forward, lengthening from your hip bone along the top of the thighs, out to the kneecaps. All right. And then let's all take a down dog. So you can do it freestanding or with the ropes, it's up to you. Baddhikasana. It was my intention to start a class of just traditional hip openers for 1 hour before this, but yeah. Would you like some help coming up? You're okay, sure? Okay. So press those heels actively to the wall and stretch your chest forward. You're ready to come out, come on out, and we're going to do Supta Padangusthasana. Look at you all, everybody's lingering. This is really a good sign. So let's all come down onto the floor. If you would like a blanket underneath your head, please feel free to do that. Just grab a blanket. We're going to start with our straps. So let's close the loop. And let's bring the feet together and knees bent as we press the legs away from the wall. So there are 2 ways to do this pose. Let's do the less advanced way to start. So let's take the bolster to the right side of the hip. And let's take the strap around the ball of the right foot. So let's slide the hands down the strap so that you can bring your forearms to the floor and press the back of the forearms as you lift your chest. Let's pull that right hip down towards the left heel. Pull the right hip to the left heel. So you can see how pulling on this strap pulls the right hip up. We in fact want to pull that right hip down towards the inner left heel. So work from the center of your buttocks. Work from your center. So find the right side and the left side of your sacrum, and then pull that right hip to that left heel. And then let your right hip be heavy. So let that right hip drop to the ground, and then reach through the right foot. So you intelligize that right leg. Let the right hip be heavy to the floor. See what it means to let go of the strap. See if you can let go of your strap. So this right hip should be heavy to the floor, and we're pulling this right hip to the left heel. So feel the center of your buttocks. Good. Let's take the strap. In the left hand, reach your right hand as far toward that right foot as you can. Let's take the left arm out to the side, turn your palm up, and let's let the right leg rest on that bolster so that you can work toward the left side of the body, stay like an anchor to the floor, cutting the floor on the left side. So you're working the left side here. Work your left side. So feel the center of your buttocks. So that you are not lifting away from this left side. I'm just going to go around and take a couple of peeks at everybody. So work this side, work that side. You got it. And the more advanced pose is this. See if you can take the foot with the hand. Not today. You see how the body starts to accept the new place. If you can find it. Nicely done, you guys. Nicely done, Jim. Very nicely done. Tight body, but you know, you got a smart mind, so. Truly, life is really well done. I should take a picture of it. Okay. So gently take your right leg up and just tip it slightly over to the left, but keep that right hip heavy to the floor. So don't lift the right hip to take it to the left. Let the hip draw straight down into the floor as you take the foot over to the left. And then let's take the left hand to the foot, and let's take that right leg all the way over to the left. So right over to the left. That's it. Look to the right. Just for a moment. And then let's take that leg back up. Jim, you want to be careful with that one, eh? So let's scooch to the wall. I lost that left foot. And now let's just release the strap. Take your right hand behind the back of your right thigh. Both hands behind the back of the right thigh. Press through the left heel. Take the back of the left thigh down to the floor as you tuck that right sit bone in and under. Very nicely done, you guys. So tuck, tuck, tuck that right sits bone in and under as you press to the left heel. Tuck your right sits bone in and under as you press through your left heel. So everybody, see if you can take your left leg all the way as far over to the right side of your mat as you can. So take your left leg all the way over to the right. Good. And now see if you can take your left hand to your right ankle and take your right knee down onto that left knee. Let's bring the knees together. So just do what you can. Jim, grab a strap. So if you find that you can't even grab your foot, you can grab a strap so that this right knee is trying to close as close to the left knee as possible. And we don't want to turn the body and torque the torso. You can see this is pretty tough. See if you can grip the floor from the center of your buttocks. So I'm just going to come around to you all and just take a quick peek. Just be patient. Okay. So try and slide the knee over this way. Don't bite your tongue. Okay. Knee on top. It's easier now. There we go. Now, take this one. There we go. So try and get the knees on. That's it. Yes. So close the knees together more and more and more. Try and take this knee over. That's it. Yeah. And then bowing down. There's your pose. Hold. That's it, guys. And then let's slowly release. Let's draw both of our thighs into our chest and just take a moment here and rock from side to side. Let's move the bolster over to the left. I gotta keep it out of the time here. Let's scooch to the wall because we've actually got class after this one. Okay, and let's take the strap this time around the ball of the left foot. So if you can manage to have your forearms to the floor, and then press those forearms to lift the chest. So this is a back bend. And then draw that left hip down towards the inner right heel. So try to work from the center of your sacrum. So you can see I actually take my hand and I'm pulling that hip because it wants to lift. Meaning it's shortening down the left side. If you were to stand on your right leg, you would not want your left hip to lift toward the left ribs. You would want that left hip coming towards the inner right heel. And we're lifting through the crease of the armpit chest, working from the center of our buttocks. Now let that left hip be heavy, reaching up through the heel to intelligize the left leg. And then let's release the strap if you can. So let that left hip be heavy as it drops towards the inner right heel. So we lengthen from the bone. Wrap all of the muscles of that leg tight. Adhere the muscles to the bone. That will create that length from the bone. And now let's just take the left hand as far down as you can. Make sure you've got that bolster underneath the left hip. And let's open the right arm out to the side so the palm is facing up. That right bicep is drawing down and the left bicep is reaching up. And you're working to keep that right side cutting the floor like a knife. So don't lift the right side away from the floor. You can see as I let the bolster fall away, I tipped a little bit to the left. So working from that right side, the inner left thigh to the inner left knee, inner left shin to the ankle, lengthening through the instep of that inner left ankle. Push out through both heels, everybody. Push, push through the heels. Alright, let's take the left leg back over, all the way over to the right if you can. And let's change arms, take the left arm out to the side. Not for a long time, just a good time. Alright, Jamie, be careful with this one. And then let's take the leg back in, and let's draw the thigh to the chest. So release the strap, take your hands around the back of the left thigh, press your right heel to the wall, tuck that left sits bone in and under as you press through the right heel. So it's those two actions happening together simultaneously from the center of the buttocks that you're looking for. That union of those two actions is the yoga. So that right thigh is drawing down, down, down as much as you can. And the left sits bone is tucking in and under. Hopefully this is a little easier. So for the sake of time, y'all, let's take the right leg over towards the left corner, and that's, if you need a strap, bring a strap around that left foot, and take that foot so you can stack your left knee on top of the right. And try not to torque the torso. Try to keep your torso nice and centered, belly down, lower ribs to the hips, working from the center of your buttocks as you bring your knees together. So we're closing the knees, closing the mouth of the cow. Don't let that cow be hungry. Close the knees closer and closer together. Working from the center of your buttocks. Belly down, so we're minimizing that hypermobility in the lower back. Unfortunately, I have a very hypermobile back, so it's difficult to decrease the space behind the lower back by drawing the belly and the spine down, lower ribs to the hips, sits bones to the lower ribs. We create this union here. Alright, let's gently release. Let's draw the thighs to the chest, and we're just going to take one little twist here. So just rock from side to side, releasing through your lower back and hips. And let's open the arms to the T position. Drop your knees to the left as you take your left hand to your right thigh. Let's lift the chest away from the hips as you look to the right. So let the breath create that space through the sides of the body. Let's release the left arm and just lift your knees up through center and over to the right. Right hand to the left thigh. Lift your chest away from the hips as you gaze to the left. Alright, left hand over to the right as you use your left hand and your right elbow to press you up. Let's just measure the distance between our hands and feet for our last downward dog. So stretching the arms forward and Adho Mukha Virasana. Let's lift the hips, tucking the toes in and under, downward dog. So we need to remove the memory of the twist from the spine. So lift your kneecaps, lift the tops of your thighs, press your heels down. See if you can draw the shoulders away from the ears so that the creases of those inner elbows are rolling slightly up, and then draw the outer forearms in. So the outer arms are drawing in, outer hips are drawing in. So this is your last chance to lengthen the sides of the spine. Without letting your hips or your sacrum come forward, try and lift your heels a little, and then pull your hips back. Lift your heels a little, pull your hips back. And then take your heels down to the floor. Lift your kneecaps, lift the tops of your thighs, feel your outer heels working down towards the earth. Good job, everybody. So when you're ready to come down and take your final rest, Shavasana, let's just bring the bolster like so, just for a few moments, not a long time, just a good time. So this helps to release the lower back when we've been working on the hips. Sometimes the lower back can feel that at work. So bring your sits bones right up to the bolster so that the backs of the thighs are over the bolster and you've got something underneath your head. Take a moment and tuck your shoulder blades in and under. And just let the mind now be still. Let the mind go of all thought. No opinion about what you've done. Just let the effort integrate. All of these efforts integrate to the body. Bring the hands to the belly and gently drawing your knees to your chest. Let's roll to the right. So sorry for the short Shavasana. And just come up to an easy seated position. What do you think, Jim? Alright, let's reach the arms up. So look up from your sits bones, feel the length that you've created through the sides of the body. You worked hard for that. So thank yourself for the effort. Genuinely take a moment and thank yourself. Thank you all for allowing me to guide you. Great job. Namaste. Okay, that just was not long. That's right.